Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Confessions of a Gaming Girl podcast. I'm your host, Doom Cutie, and today we are joined by my lovely co-host, Kate.
Evening.
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 And a very special guest all the way from Brisbane, Australia, Erin from
Hi.
TNXP podcast.
Yeah, nice. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. It is lovely to have not only a lovely gamer girl on the podcast, but also another podcaster, like a regular podcaster that's really cool, really exciting. I'll stop it. Oh, you.
Go
Hello, everyone in the chat and everyone listening after the fact. Thank you so much for being here. We really do appreciate it. Talking all things women gaming and all the lifestyle that they lead. I'll start for this week. What has everyone been playing? Kate, let's start with you because you've been on fire on the socials, girl. All those pre-records, I'm guessing.
Yes. We're in the right company tonight because I have been playing quite a few cozy games that are coming up for PAX at PAX Rising. So there's been a few. There's been I wouldn't call Moonbrella cozy. If you think of, I don't know if you guys have played Bennett Foddy and his wonderful game where you sit inside of a pot and you have to use a broom and it's a whole thing. And when you fall down, as you climb up, and if you fall down, you go back to the start. It's infuriating, not cozy.
Oh.
Anyway, Moonbrella is wonderful. It actually is a good game, but it is very much in that vein. And I played that, finished the demo. The game is good, but my gosh, it has its moments. But I have played Ubel Gardens, Bronzebeard Tavern 2, which is currently coming out probably in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So we play tested the demo and it's really good. And the devs behind it are great. They're like, they were sitting watching while we were playing on Twitch and there was bugs and they were fixing them live as we were going. So they were like, right, go out, update your game, come back in. So we did that and they were fixing it on the go. And
so cool.
It's really good. It's a really good game. But yeah, that's on Steam and you can wish list it, but it should be out in the next couple of weeks in demo for everybody. But yeah, there's been, all the PAX Rising games. Schrodinger's Cat I played again because they've released the full game since PAX last year. That's a really good game. So yeah, just games like that. It's basically where I'm at the moment. Running through what's coming or has been at PAX is kind of where I'm at the moment. So that's my week of gaming. Oh, actually, I should say there is another game, and this one is absolutely cozy. It's Rita by Spork Tank.
Oh yes, I love Rita.
Yeah. So Rita was released fully this week. And I managed to finish the whole game. But if you like puzzle games or cozy games, they've got crosswords and finder words. But the actual, I'm not going to give any spoilers because honestly, the best part about the game is the story behind it as you're playing. And it's really sweet. So if you want a nice chill game that's fun, and it probably didn't take that long to finish it. I managed to finish it in a couple of days playing it on and off. So it was really good. Definitely play that one.
Yeah, I did get a little Rita chicken, and one of my children stole it. So
yeah,
that was very sad. Anyway,
yes.
Erin,
yeah.
Before we get into what you've been playing, maybe we should get some background, some lore about Erin and who she is and what she does in games.
Yeah, lovely. I'm Erin. I'm one half of TNXP, a couples cozy gaming podcast. We just usually say TNXP. And the other half is my husband. So no boys allowed, not allowed to be here tonight. It's
no.
He's off DMing for his Dungeons and Dragon group as well, because I said we contain multitudes. And yeah, our podcast is basically about treating video games and cozy games in particular as text that can be analyzed and enjoyed in the same way that we would with like a novel or something like that. We don't hesitate to analyze novels and appreciate all the pieces of that. And games are those kind of texts as well. And obviously the big difference is that your interaction with that game changes the game usually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
it's a really nice kind of snippet podcast. It doesn't go for quite as long as ours, but there's some really, really lovely insights in that podcast. So I have linked the podcast in the chat, and I'll also link it in all of our descriptions in the posting of this. Um, but Erin, so have you been playing any cozy games this week, or?
yeah. So I also tend to have a few games on the go as well. So and part of our podcast is, we do a game rating, but it's not really important to us. Like the rating that we really sweat over and think about is actually our cozy rating. And so we rate all of our games like 1 to 5, because
Okay.
when you think about it, what is a cozy game to different people means lots of different things. So, some people will sit there and the example that always comes up is something like Dave the Diver. I don't consider Dave the Diver a particularly cozy game. Alex thinks it is so cozy. It's just like, this is cozy as heck. And you're like, okay, if you say so. And so then we have a look at it and think about, how cozy it is. So at the moment, I have just wrapped up Wax Heads, which dropped in May this year as well. I'm actually playing Can, and a lot of people do not consider that a cozy game, but I am making it my season 3 of the podcast challenge to convince Alex it is, and that we should review it. And in what context would that be a cozy game as well? And I have played a few other bits and pieces, been playing a Short Hike just as a palate cleanser. It's a really nice one just to, hit off in a couple of hours. Just nice little joy-filled game. And I'm waiting with a lot of anticipation to, I said, like Big Walk and Fields of Mysteria as well. So that will both of those will consume part of my weekend for sure coming up. So, yeah.
Nice.
Very good. I am honestly, I love everything that you just said, like in regards to a cozy game is something that can be very subjective. Like for me, a cozy game is something that is you find comfort in. And I think that everyone sees that differently. So for example, like if I've had like a rougher kind of day or week or whatever, and I just want to like relax a little bit, I might, for me, sometimes Forza is a cozy game for me because it's open world. I can just go around. I can just do some very predictable things. There's nothing that's going to surprise me in that game, and I can kind of enter that game and feel like, I can make it as challenging as I want it to be, and I think that's key to a cozy game.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
even just the name cozy gaming is subjective too. Like some people will be like, okay, well, I think a cozy game has to be cutesy and whimsical and, story based. Whereas to someone who like someone else might be like, oh, well, to me, cozy means I chill out in it. It helps me come down. Some people, a first person shooter is cozy. It's absolutely not. But some people in their mind, that's what brings them down. And if we're talking about that as being the term for what cozy is, then for some people it will be that. So it is very subjective, I think.
Yeah, and for us as well, like we realize that, like you're saying, there's like gameplay is arguably part of the coziness, aesthetic is as well. But one of the things we talk a fair bit about is that idea of themes and like what sounds like high school English or something, like themes and ideas in it, and what it explores is a big part of coziness in our eyes, because you could have a game that is about something quite intense like death or grief or burnout, but it creates this really safe space to be able to explore and unpack that, and that's really cool. We don't have enough safe spaces in the world to feel a lot of big feelings these days, and so having games that really help people look at that, think about it, stuff, it's really cool that people are making games around that.
Yeah, definitely.
I would even extend that to say that all games are safe spaces. They are safe spaces for, perhaps not in the online sense, online voice chat and things like that, but it provides a safe way to explore different concepts, whether that be, to risk on purpose or to, experiment within doing something, failing without judgment, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I think that those probably are larger themes in cozy games. And I think in recent times, and I dare say, I believe they are the 2019s and the 2020 COVID era of gaming, I think cozy games have become kind of almost slur. How would you feel about that, Erin?
Oh, absolutely. And the idea that, if you like cozy games, you're not a real gamer and all that kind of,
Yeah.
arguments that we hear
Only
about it and
girls
things
like
like
cozy
that.
games.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess the lovely benefit of being a gamer who is now over 40, wasn't when I started as well, but turned 41 this year, is I don't give a crap what other people think. I think that
Yes.
that idea that that the online community that we create and curate for ourselves as well, in terms of like TNXP world, we make sure we surround ourselves by people who get it, and that side of it as well, and if people want to not get it or want to, be combative or argumentative for their own edgelordy sake, then they are so welcome to, but they can do it elsewhere. So,
Oh, geez. We have spoken many times about these edgelords, as you call them. I think that's a bit too generous a term. But I want to get to the beginning. All right. So, Erin, how did you even decide to create this podcast?
Well, I guess if you go back to, you have to sort of start with adult Erin getting back into gaming as well. So not,
Yes,
as a
I
young
love
person
that.
and everything.
Yep.
So, it was basically COVID, and, like so many people, work was sucking, and, it was, the world was falling apart and everything. And I realized, but wasn't making any actions about it. And I think Alex realized, and, as the amazing human he is, realized he needed to sort of very gently guide and intervene in his non-pushy way, and realized that I needed a different outlet because I had stopped reading. I'd stopped doing other things that brought me joy. Obviously, we couldn't socialize with people in the same way. I had a job where I still had to be at work for most of the part as well, which was, a mid experience. And I think, and so
Yep.
I guess, just that idea that, he could see me burning out. And just that part of it as well. And so he just started introducing a few of these ideas. Obviously, he has gamed for a really long time, and he started looking into things like, there's these 2-player games like Stardew Valley and things like that. And,
okay.
And too many hours to share on Stardew Valley. But the real kicker was a Brisbane game as well, called Unpacking by Witchbeam. It's very famous cozy game. A lot of people have heard about it, and popped it down in front of me. And luckily, I suppose, by having a bit of a look at Stardew Valley, I already realized that kind of resolution and pixel art didn't mean something wasn't quality or anything like that. And I sort of went, okay. And he just said, I've heard good things. I haven't played it. I think that you'd really like it. And it was just, it's a point and click. It's really, gentle. He didn't want to make assumptions about my gaming past, informing my gaming future. And so he just, started me off on that. And I just loved it. I really loved that there was this actually very rich story in something as simple as a house organizer, a box unpacking game, things like that as well. And I love a game that ends with some nice power of diverse love. That's really cool as well. And it was just, that was the tipping point for me as well. And started looking to other things as well. So I dug up Gris, which is a good example of, I think, a cozy game, but is about grief and death and loss and things like that as well. Really hadn't branched out a lot yet, but sort of about that point, I actually got my mum into gaming. So my mum is 73 this year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. She was about maybe she was just before 70 when we got her into it. And we got her into unpacking and got her into grist. She loved it. And then she, without me talking to her about it, because we had to do some big talks when my mum got into gaming, because I would buy her games on Steam and gift them. And then, we had to get my mum a Steam account. And then we'd say, okay, you don't want to share your credit card details online. That is a valid
it's a
choice.
whole another level of scamming other than someone calling her on the phone.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked about, going to Woolies or Coles and buying your Steam cards, and then having the talk about, now when you go to Woolies, people are going to talk to you and people are going to think that you are getting taken advantage of because your demographic doesn't tend to buy Steam cards. So we had to warn her about that. But then before you knew it, she downloaded Journey, and I hadn't even played that yet. And she was off playing Journey, and she loved it. It's her all-time favorite game. And then she was playing Dinkum and all these other things as well. And when she was playing Dinkum, she was talking to Alex and I and said, I really like the game. It's pretty hard on my hands. And we sort of went, oh, yeah, okay, I guess it would be. There's lots of battling crocs and stuff like that. And it got us thinking and talking about these ways that games could be played by other people with other experiences and things like that. And, just as we kept playing games, and Alex was like, hey, this cozy game thing's pretty cool, even though he's always off playing, Guild Wars and all those other things as well that he plays. It was his idea. And he just said, hey, we have such good conversations about cozy games. I really love them with you. I want to do it for us, but how about we share some of those conversations? And that was the start of it. And then all the reality set in where you're like, oh, okay, I have to teach myself, because ours is not a live podcast. So, teaching ourselves sound recording and all this kind of stuff. And but that's been really amazing part of the adventure as well. So, keeps your brain ticking over and things like that as well. And thinking about, technology, social media, lessons in social media have been wild as well, like a whole new world. But and the big piece, like our first episode was unpacking. We thought it was a really good spot to start in terms of starting where it all really properly kicked off for me and therefore us in terms of cozy gaming. So, and the rest is history. So
nice.
I love that it seems like it was all his idea. Like, I know obviously you have such a fantastic relationship, and he obviously can read you very well, but it does seem like he was like, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna make a gamer girlfriend. I'm going to make my own, like build your own.
But we actually have a bonus episode now about how to turn your partner into your player too.
Yes, So
we realized that we're like, oh, Alex, you really nailed that. It's, to be able to gently influence and guide one's partner for good and not ill, I think is a lovely skill set. And so we talked about that idea of like unpacking what made, keep referring to unpacking now, what made that experience so successful, and the fact that Alex considered where I was. He didn't make assumptions about my skills. He didn't say, hey babe, do you want to play COD or things like that as well,
I bought us matching headsets.
Yeah, exactly, and and it was, he did it I'm sure he was not angling for a podcast, but I think the idea that he did it, well, maybe he's actually a mastermind and never figured it out, but he did it for me, and that was a really nice part of it as well. So it wasn't about what he was going to get out of it. He sort of went, what are Erin's interests? There's games about art I could do, or hey Gris, that has beautiful hand painted watercolors, you like art, that kind of thing.
I have a game for you. I'll send you after the fact if you like art, you'll like this. Look, Erin, you're fantastically well spoken. So I can only imagine he was just like, my partner is a yapper. She needs to channel that into something that's fun and non-serious. So yeah, why not a podcast for sure? I lost my train of thought, and I had something I was going to say. Oh yes, here it is.
Sorry.
So I will say Alex, he might be the mastermind here, but I dare say, you know, considering your demographic, considering my demographic, Kate's demographic, we're all pretty similar. We grew up with those, you know, it was games were very bro coded. Like Halo, the first Xbox came out when I was like 12, 13. But I remember playing a lot of shopping games. I remember playing the Barbie games. I remember playing SingStar. I remember playing Looney Tunes games. I remember playing like games that were at school, like part of, you know, the learning. Like Encyclopedia Britannica had games in it. I don't know if you remember those CD-ROMs. So we were very much a part of the very beginning part of games just being fun, you know, just being games for the sake of being games, you know. And we obviously we've come so far in that, and now, you know, you can analyze everything very, you know, deeply psychologically, you know, all that kind of stuff. But you know, Alex wasn't totally here. That was always like simmering under the surface, I feel.
Oh
Erin.
yeah, absolutely.
And I love how you said, like, you know, you kind of came back to gaming. I don't know about you, Kate, but when, and I don't know, Erin, if you have children, but when I was in the very early stages of like motherhood and like all that kind of stuff, I didn't really think about that. And I think I was just in that mode. And I only really got back into it kind of after I kind of, I guess I matured, or like I grew up a little bit, because then I realized that it was so important for me to have things my own and things that I enjoyed.
Yeah, that's very much the same experience for me. This sort of got into a pretty heavy workforce and immediately went, I don't have time now for this, because my brain is all about this, because my being in like the emergency service and whatnot, you come home at the end of the day and you go to sleep and you wake up and you go again. And like for a very long time that consumed me. Then the kids came along on top and it was like, there's just no time. And then I realized not doing it was way worse. So then I was cutting off anything I was doing for myself. And then I started to slowly just become the person that was mum and worked. And then I eventually started to go, well, why am I doing this? And then started to slowly ease back into some games. And then I was like, that's right. I should have stayed here this whole time. But you live and you learn, and life gets in the way.
I think gaming is often sold as really indulgent, and doubly so when you're a woman, and probably triply so when you're a parent as well. And so rather than see it as like a legitimate use of downtime, it's just seen as, something that is potentially selfish and everything, when we know that it's just a legitimate hobby like anything else.
Yeah.
And how, I mean, it's probably one of the most expensive hobbies. One of, like, if you think about, if you go ahead and collect everything and do all the things in gaming, like, damn, it's certainly up there. I find myself, I can't really talk to the people like at school pickup about it, really. I mean, I can help them with their, you know, privacy settings on their kids' Xbox, like, sure. But that's where my usefulness or my, you know, relating kind of ends.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit awkward sometimes. But I mean, you know, obviously by the sounds of it, you said Alex does D&D, and if he plays Guild Wars, he probably like talks online with people and all that kind of stuff. So he probably has like quite a, you know, a good community of people that is nerdy like him, and hopefully you benefit from that as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's a big part of the reason we sort of, you know, found each other. You know, I you know, very romantic story, Tinder. Remember, you know,
okay. Look,
you know,
that's not gamified love, I don't know what is.
True, absolutely. I just remember, you know, like you write a profile and I'm like, I absolutely just want to sell myself for who I am. I'm like, I'm a big nerd. I have read a lot of comic books. I talk too much about Lord of the Rings or whatever. You know, I think, you know, I want to, you know, people to just take me as I am, not hide who I am. Like that, you know, part of dating in your early 20s where you're all just worried about your best foot forward all the time. I'm like, no. You know, we can be good, but we need to be real, you know. And luckily he just matched my geek. So it was good. And we have different things that we both like as well that complement each other well, but lots of good overlap. Both Lord of the Rings, bit of gaming, both like D&D. So yeah.
Yeah, right. You said before we started about trying to find that right balance between, you know, and the right, making sure you fit the right things into your life. So like outside of doing the podcast and your cozy gaming, like what does that look like for you?
Yeah. Well, we don't have kids, so I will completely own straight off the bat that we don't have that particular, I think complication sounds derogatory, but I just meant demands on their time, you know.
Oh no,
no
that's
shame.
hard
right.
mode.
That's
It's just
fine.
hard mode. It's
Yeah,
fine.
that's true. Exactly. We
Allow
get that
it.
we are playing on easy mode.
Yeah.
And you know, and yeah, I said we have, there are children in our lives that we love and are related to and things like that. But we totally own the fact that we get to come home and not have little people to look after and things like that as well. But we both work really busy corporate jobs that are quite demanding, like cognitively, sometimes emotionally. Yeah, there's, you know, those kind of jobs as well where yeah, you know, some interesting hours for both of us, depending on what's going on and everything. Yeah, we both really like our jobs. We both have really cool parts of it. But yeah, we think it's really important to have that identity outside of work as well. I think that's really important. And yeah, it is interesting that you were saying before, Kate, you know, just, you know, and just not sharing that kind of part of you at work as much, you know, like that, you know. I have people at work who I know are also gamers and lovely big old nerds as well. So I do share a bit with them as well. I am, there's only one other person above me at my particular place of work. So I always make sure that I go light on the sharing of that, not because I'm embarrassed or anything. I actually think sharing and being vulnerable and things about our life is really important, but because I, even though I have friends at work as well, I also own the fact that sometimes if I am looking after and supporting that person, they might not want to listen to the person who manages them or anything like that, bang on about a podcast or what they're gaming on the weekend as well. Like,
sorry,
yeah.
I just had this vision of just like you just going like full nerd mode on something, like, you know, talking about the, you know, the importance of, you know, strong narratives in games and how you're so happy about that, and them just being like, just they have to listen to you because you're their boss.
You're trying to tell them, you know, you just, sometimes you got to keep at it. Like you really want to get that absolute gold trophy in the game, and you've got to keep at it. So this is why I need you to apply yourself at work, okay? And they're like, what?
I get stuck on a level, you know.
I don't just give up.
Dig deep, team. You know,
I reboot, I try again.
That's right. You turn it off and on again.
Yeah. I
do have a lovely lady at work.
Hands off keyboard, deep breath, and continue.
Off we go. I do have a lady at work, a friend who listens to the podcast, and she was saying, oh, I've been meaning to catch up with the podcast. I'm a couple of episodes behind. And I'm like, you do not need to listen to my podcast, by the way. Like, you don't. Like, it's okay. Like, but she goes, I can't listen to it at night because I can't listen to your. Yeah, she's like, I can't listen to your voice before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm just like, valid. You know, we probably already have enough dreams and nightmares at work without adding my dulcet tones to the mix. So yeah. But I just think it's go ASMR or something, you know. But no, I just think that you know, we try and really curate our lives because, you know, even though, you know, we don't have littlies, you know, we still have other responsibilities in our lives and things like that. We own, I said, one of the lovely benefits of Queensland is living in a Queenslander, which is a hobby in and unto itself, because these things like to fall down and break all the time. So you got to get comfy with some renos. And, you know, we got, you know, other bits and pieces and everything going on. And so, yeah, it's important to prioritize, you know, hobbies, and particularly like gaming for us as well, and podcast time, you know, editing and all those things take a bit of time as well, as you know, but also balancing out just with those life responsibilities as well. And luckily for both of us, we're both really fortunate that we don't feel guilty. You know, sometimes we don't always get the balance right. You know, there's times where we'll stay up a bit late or that kind of stuff. But yeah, benefit of getting old though is that your body wants to go to bed at some point.
Oh
You're
yeah,
like,
yeah. If
absolutely.
you feel like you're going to, you know, pass a threshold, your body will be like, haha, no. We've reached another like age bracket now. So
Mhm.
that I think I'm
Absolutely.
at that at the moment. Like my children go to bed at like 8:30. Sometimes it's all, you know, if we're having, I don't know, sometimes 9 o'clock. Very annoying if it is, because it leaves me about an hour before my
Yeah.
body's like, girl, why aren't you in bed?
Yeah. You need sleep, protein and fiber and a regular wake up time, you know, all that stuff. You know?
Yeah, and somehow get in 15,000 steps and eat in a calorie deficit and this much protein, this much protein. Go to work and, you know, do all the craft for your kids and, you know, have a social life and, you know, not pull your hair out and, you know, have a perfect skin. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not
I do not know
doable.
how people with I don't know how people with kids do it, to be honest. Like I just, yeah, you know, I need the decompression space. I love and admire my friends with kids. Like,
you just indoctrinate them. Okay. Kate's kids are gamers, so are mine. Okay.
Yeah.
So they know, okay, they understand what gaming time is. This is important when we're at home on the holidays. I'm playing a game, you're playing a game. It's all right.
Yeah, I wasn't as gentle as Alex. I was like, get your game out and play it, and you will like it. And this is how we're going to do it as a family. Understand? I wasn't like, let's find out what your game is and what you're into. I was like, listen, you're into this now. Understand? That'll take you a solid 2 hours. I'm going to read a book. For the love of God, don't come to me unless someone's being mean.
Valid.
Yes.
Yeah, my daughter got an ear infection.
2 a.m.
Oh,
that's how I get through.
No, my daughter got an ear infection and she managed to complete most of Mario Odyssey. And that was her start to games, which very happy about that. And then I thought, oh, she was the thing that got her right was when she could really read and really understand. And, you know, like I've said to a lot of kids that are, you know, if you don't know how to read, you don't know how to play video games. You can't read the instructions. You need to learn to read. But yeah, no, she loved that. We all love Minecraft, all that kind of stuff. Mario Party gets a bit tense. But
this is why they need some soothing, cozy games, you know.
Yeah.
Get Clara the controller out of the wall and put it down and take a breath.
So I've got one daughter that does like the coziness. She started unpacking, so she's been doing that. But then the other one's just chaos. They're like, why can't I smash the window or smash the glass with the book if I put it on it? Yeah. So yeah, she did like the sushi robot game. It was on Xbox.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. It was like it was like you had peaks of like excitement where you, like all the customers would come in and you had to like give them the right colored sushi plates or they would get angry. Yeah, so that she liked that because that was a bit more crazy. But yeah, so it's just it's a different experience. If you have any other children in your life, I dare like you could just be, you know, that the cool adult that knows all the things and, you know, gives all the
try
cool,
our best,
you know, presents. You know, they're like, yeah, I know what you want, kid. You want V-Bucks.
Yeah, our nephew does actually listen to our podcast, and he is just turned 10 as well. So it's the reason why we don't have any swearing in our podcast as well. We realized, I think episode 1 has one swear word in it. And then we realized what was happening. We're like, oh, we want to be a good influence. So we're, you know, both regular amounts of sweary people in real life, and on the podcast we're like, I would never. So.
Yeah, that's me when I switch between school holiday mode and regular mode when I'm streaming. All of my streams become kid friendly. And every other time they're 18 plus. And then you're like, your whole audience has to just shift for a second. You're like, they're here, they're in the stream. So everyone chill.
Used to it. Yeah.
It's all right.
Just take a breath.
As we have guests regularly, I just have to put it on just in case, because I don't control other people. So yeah, sometimes we get passionate here. So who knows? Something that you mentioned before, and something that might be like a little bit of maybe, I don't know. You did say you're a grown woman. But does it feel
That's right.
strange to be 41, to be a gamer, to talk about this publicly on a podcast?
That is a good question. I guess the short answer is no. Short answer is no, because and like, even, the fact that I've even divulged at work, that this is a hobby I have and things like that. Yeah, the way I look at it is that passion is gorgeous. Like passion things that people talk about, things that they like and everything, like, passion is sexy, passion is gorgeous. It's, really great to hear people talk about things that they like, even if it's something you don't know about. If someone's banging on about, even if it's a video game or something that I don't know, if you can tell that they just really like it, that it's meant something to them, that's awesome. And so I figure, if people don't like it, they will fade away. They will find something else as well. There has been a really nice online community of slightly older people who have emerged that have been really nice. So some of the people that I connect more frequently with others has been really good and very unexpected, because I was like, that online journey for us was like after like MSN Messenger and ICQ, which is really dating myself, after that sort of happened and faded out as well, having an online community wasn't really a thing for me. It just wasn't, it wasn't something I would consider. And so having people, that I realized, I'm like, hey, you're liking every one of my posts and reposting them, and shouting out in your own stories and things like that as well, just made me realize that, there's all these like-minded people out there as well, which is really cool. And in terms of the real life people, like, they can take it or leave it. But, as I said, mum's a gamer. Dad is definitely not, but both of them listen to the podcast every week. They're very lovely, and want to talk about it. And I'm not sure how much Dad talks, understands when we talk about some of the slightly more technical terms, although we try not to be too technical in the podcast. But everyone that we've gotten feedback from, the number one thing is, that's so cool. And the second thing is always, you guys actually sound like you really like each other. And that's really cool.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize was a rarity. But we do get really nice feedback from people about how we seem to actually enjoy each other's company. So, which we do. We made a whole bloody podcast about it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think
dare
you're right
say,
Sorry, you go.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, how you said earlier about you get that little bit older and you do become quite unapologetically, you know what, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. Like I say to people all the time, you think people care more than they care. They're all so involved in their own lives and what they've got going on. They're not listening or caring as much as you think. They might make a little snarky comment here and there, but at the end of the day, who cares? And I think we're all at that end of the spectrum where we're like, I've spent so long being the girl that shouldn't play games, or the mother that shouldn't play games, or the whatever that shouldn't whatever. Forget your whatevers. I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and I don't really care about your opinion anymore, because it doesn't affect me unless I let it. I think that's very true. As you get a bit older and you start to look at the outside and see that.
Imagine like growing up your whole life and feeling that way. I wonder who experienced that.
My daughter will. That's for damn sure.
Damn right. But it's just, I have gotten feedback from this exact topic. It's like, why does there need to be a female gaming podcast, female focused gaming podcast? Because we are now, I'm at the age where I've realized that I can talk about the things that I like, and it doesn't matter what other people think. And this is the podcast for those women. And for the other people that support them, obviously. We don't, restrict our fans to just one gender. But it really did come to that point. And I show up every week banging on that drum, and I love it, and I'll continue to do it. Honestly, don't Don't you worry. But I will say, in a social media world of just absolute brain rot, every third thing I see is AI or stupid or something that I'm clearly too old to appreciate. Having content that is enjoyable, genuine, and like you said, oh my God, these are people that sound like they actually like each other. If there is, honestly, if I see one more podcast where people are just ripping on each other the entire time, like, honestly, I don't care if, I have a small following. If I can look at the stuff that I create and feel, okay about that, and not like I had to sell out and be something that I'm not just to get, some likes, some followers. It just seems ridiculous. And I'm grateful that your podcast exists for that very reason.
Oh, thanks. But yeah, and I guess that it's one of the reasons why cozy, that part of it as well is that it's such a, well, one, blood pressure. I don't know if I can handle some shooting games anymore. The Stardew
Very
Valley skull
important.
mines are enough. Like, I'm good.
Some of
But
us need it.
but joy. Like I said, there's
Joy.
enough. There's a lot going on in the world, and whether people want to engage with that or not is their choice. But regardless, to counter that, I think we need things that are thoughtful and curated and joyful. And we don't review any games that we don't like. Every game, whether we give it 5 out of 5 on the game rating or not, doesn't matter. Like, no game is there because we want to sit there and just, like you said, just sit around on a podcast and rip into something. Like,
Yeah.
Life is short. Let's do things that are joyful and enjoyable.
Yeah, I try to remind people too, because I do a lot of play testing and demo run-throughs and early access stuff. And I try to say to people, you can be helpful without being nasty. Someone's put all their love into this, their effort and time. It might be it needs a lot of work, but say it needs a lot of work. You don't need to sit there and say, oh, this is a piece of crap and I wouldn't play it. Give them a chance. Come to them with genuine feedback, or say nothing. Like, I feel if you can't give actual feedback that's beneficial, then don't say anything at all. So I think it's really good that, that you choose to just focus on the games you really enjoy. There should be more of that and less of the putting down things, in my opinion. But the world sometimes heads that way.
Yeah, and people wonder why they're burnt out. It's because you're expending all this energy on all of this hate all the time. You're looking for something that's controversial. You're looking for something that you can have like a hot take on all the time. And look, informed, I guess entertaining opinions are important for people who are making content, media, all that kind of stuff, but not at the sake of, first of all, your blood pressure, but but you really do need to have some sort of like cognition going on when you are forming these opinions. And it's I just feel like, have you watched that film? What is it? Idiocracy? It's just it's just I just can't. And that's why, I'm not prophesizing anything, but it's the reason why I've been doing this for 3 years, and it's doesn't seem like it. If that makes sense.
Is it they've slipping global literacy rate, so it might happen anyway, unfortunately.
Yes, I saw some dreadful news this morning on the Channel 7 or something. It was a random thing that came out, and I was like, oh, okay, good, great. That makes sense. That tracks. Another thing that I did want to ask you, and you did mention before, navigating the social media. So I do feel like previously you could just do one thing and not have to worry about a social media presence. Like, how have you found that journey?
Up and down, to be honest. There's lots of figuring out, just figuring out stuff as well, which is I do find that satisfying, that idea of let's figure out how we're going to do this. I suppose it's really interesting. It's one of those things where you have to learn a bit about the algorithm and that side of it. And realized, and for Alex, he would just have no social media presence at all if he could for the podcast. But he also has come around to the fact that we have found some really amazing like-minded people in doing so, and having Instagram and things like that. But I guess it's really interesting when we do things like posts out now, what that goes out, gets very few views, and then you'll put out an identity piece about this is us, and that will get a surprising amount of views, but sometimes not, because the algorithm is mysterious and incognito.
It is.
It is an interesting beast.
Yeah. And so, we've realized that, we've had to think about what are our boundaries in terms of what we share online. If people look at our social media, they'll see a smidge of us in terms of like our faces. Sometimes I, a bit more recently, do a little bit of, yapping over the top or something. But it's been an interesting choice, because neither of us really want to have super strong online presences. We don't want to be all out there all the time. We don't want to be the couple that has to do skits and things like that to get views and everything. And it's not because we don't love other people doing that and that they're amazing, but just for us and our comfort zone. I said Alex is very introverted. I'm a shy extrovert, is the way I describe myself. And so that's not what we want to do. So accepting the fact that we have slower growth, and that's okay, has been a big part of that social media journey, for sure.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of grace to kind of be okay with that, especially when you do see other people's social medias or podcasts are, getting a lot of success, getting, brand deals, all that kind of stuff. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. Comparison is genuinely the thief of joy. And look, I'm not perfect. I do sometimes let that monster in. But the prefrontal cortex sometimes betrays me, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better at seeing that and understanding that, if I want to put myself out there in a way that I feel comfortable. And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. That pressure to perform is strong. Yeah. But it takes away from just, you guys being genuine. It's one of the reasons we really like your podcast. Like, that side of it is because you're like, oh, you sound like people. You sound like people I would actually talk to, and not someone performing.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah.
Oh, no, I really appreciate that. And I think, you're either someone who's trying so hard and you want people to feel like that you're unreachable, that you're only someone to look up to, rather than someone to, I guess, relate to and to feel comfortable to be a part of the community. And that takes longer to cultivate.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Sure. I do have one last question that I really want answered from you. You mentioned earlier playing cozy games to do with deeper, meaningful stories. Now, one of my all-time favorite cozy games is What Becomes of Edith Finch.
Yes.
Now, that game smashed me.
Yep.
It hit me hard. I legitimately,
all the feelings.
It's on my YouTube, and there was a moment where I had to legitimately pause and take a minute. But that's probably one of the greatest games I've played for the reason of the story behind it. And I think you're absolutely right about the deeper meaning, cozy gaming, and allowing that to come into real life to allow you to talk about it with other people, because I've been able to use that game as a stepping point into going, hey, let's talk about what's behind the feelings that we're having around this game, which is important to me, and that and using that sort of platform for helping other people with mental health and things like that. Do you have any suggestions of similar games to that game?
Yes,
that's interesting. I guess it depends on what you were looking for, like what emotion you wanted to dig into as well. So I've already mentioned Gris. Gris, like that's really powerful game. I remember the second time I played it, it was after I had actually found out my mum was really sick. It's okay, she's right. But like watching the opening, just checking disclaimer. She's right. But I remember the opening scenes of Gris destroyed me in that context of grappling with the idea of is my mum going to be okay as well. But I think that you know, a couple, if people are not sure if they want to get into the really gritty ones yet, because obviously, you know, cozy can overlap with some, you know, some horror and some quite ambient kind of vibes and everything. But I'd say something like Night in the Woods is a really interesting one. It's one that the first time I played it, I loved the aesthetics of it and the gameplay of it. Was a little bit disappointed with the end of the story, but I mostly just didn't understand why people were losing their mind over this main character. And I really had to, treat it like The Great Gatsby. You hate everyone in the book, but the book is great and beautifully crafted, and that side of it, and you learn something from it, you know. Although if you like Nick too much, beige flag, not sure about that, but yeah, just, you know, like, you know, May is this really complex character, and as an older person, I was sitting there going, I don't get why this person is engaging with the world in this way and making so many bad choices, and, you know, that kind of stuff as well. And of course, we know the answer is prefrontal cortexes are not always formed in someone who's, you know, still in university. But yeah, just that I found that one really interesting about a gritty coming of age story as well. I think Wonder Stop is a really lovely, gentle one that deals with burnout in a really fantastic way. And the developer is the guy who also made the Stanley Parable and has made some really fabulous games as well. And, you know, he created Wonder Stop because after all the pressure of these other successful games that he made, he just wanted to pull it back and do something that expressed what he was feeling and things like that. I thought that was really, really good as well. So yeah, but I guess it there too, I think are always an interesting like that part of it as well. But I said I'm trying to make sure that I keep it cozy and I don't accidentally like set anyone up for trauma or anything like that as well, you know.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to depend on the individual too. Like, you know, I played a game recently called Cyber Paradise, which I've talked about on the podcast. It's a little indie game, and I lost my dog 2 weeks before, and it was like, it was the worst time to play that game because it runs through the whole living through memories of the dog. And I was like, this game is wonderful, and if someone else played it, they probably would have went through it and gone, oh, this is really nice. Me, I was just like a blubbering mess by the end. It's like, it's fine. A lot of people, fine.
The dog, no. But like a lot of people say they absolutely lose the plot over Spiritfarer, which is a very lovely, cozy game. And I have all the feelings. And yet I didn't have that reaction in Spiritfarer, you know, then was confused and wondered if I had experienced it correctly, because I'm like, everyone says that they were just wrecked by it. And I was just like, this is lovely. It has a good range of emotion. So like you said, it depends on, I think, like you said, not only the person, but their precise context in time, on how they're going to react with that. But yeah, but like Edith Finch, like that is,
it's a gorgeous game too. Like you're right about how cozy it makes it feel by the aesthetic as well, and the animation and the way it all comes together, and the music even really adds to it. And that game in particular is like if you want to play a cozy game with some feeling behind it, maybe don't start with Edith Finch, because then you set yourself up to feel like none of them are as good.
I've got no feelings. I'm numb now. Although I will say, all right, not every cozy game has to, you know, feel like therapy. Okay. I played Disney Dreamlight Valley. That is a cozy game. It's also Disney stealing my money, but because I can't resist.
It feels like extortion.
Look, it's fine. But that is a cute, cozy game. Not too much trauma. There is like a little bit of an underlying like appreciating childhood and like the I guess the what is it? Preciousness value of childhood. Because that's essentially, you know, Disney in a nutshell. Or they try to do anyway. But yeah. But then again, you know, one of the games that gave me the most trauma was Mass Effect. So, you know, I'm still not over it, and I still can't do a Renegade playthrough because I'm still not getting over it. Oh, right. Thank you, Erin, for being here this evening. You've brought your very genuine energy to this podcast, and I really, really appreciate it. So thank you to yourself and to Alex for letting us borrow you for this evening, because you're a great podcaster.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Especially considering we always record everything. So just being spontaneous has been a joy. So thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad it hasn't been like a massive pressure and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it must be quite different. But it's easier than people think. I think once you walk the walk, you get the talk. It's very, very easy. And I mean, how could you not? Kate and I are a delight.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
absolutely.
What do you mean? Erin, when is your next episode dropping? Are you between seasons now?
We are
I
between
think you are.
seasons, so that's part of
Mm,
our self-care package is we do it in seasons, not all the time, which you guys would get.
same.
Yeah. Our next season 3 starts next Thursday, so in Australia. But
Woo.
so that'll be really good fun.
Exciting.
So, and we're trying to do a few more 2026 games this season as well, just to spice things up. So, done a few classics, going to do a few new ones as well.
Well, you'll have to check out some of Kate's demos that she's got
Yeah,
going
definitely.
from some of the beautiful PAX Rising devs.
Yeah.
Definitely some coziness in there that you could get around, I'm sure.
Yes,
Looking forward to that. And if you want to go ahead, I've put the link for their Spotify in the chat. You can also find them on Instagram. TNXP is the first thing that comes up. Love that. Kate, what are you doing this week? Anything we can get around?
Oh gosh. I do. It's just we're in the same zone for the next couple of months. I guess it's more PAX Rising indie games. I am trying to throw in a horror game at some point, mainly because it's hilarious when I get jump scared. And I played, as a few people know, I played Outlast a while ago, and I said to myself, I'm done. The horror, like I was on edge. I was on edge every time I played it. And
Isn't
it
that
got to a
the
point
game
where
where people had
gotta
all
take a
the
breath.
blood, the heart rate monitors?
Oh, probably.
I think that is. And it was like a thing. There was like a Twitch integration where people could apparently it's fun to see someone in tachycardia or something. I don't know.
You know what? All that does is make me feel seen, because that game was terrifying. And every week I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. And then when I finished playing that, I was like, I'm not doing horror anymore. I'm done. And now I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm healed and everything's fine. So I'll play a horror game now. It's going to be fine until I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Love an injection of horror.
Oh, I finished it, Shark. I finished the game.
Oh yeah. No, of course Kate finished it because she's a gun.
I finished it. I didn't want to.
She's great. She would never let a game not finish her just because she was scared.
No, I just cry myself to sleep with a Disney movie on.
Yeah, she just
fine. It's not a problem. I just watched Ratatouille 47 times. If you think that's a joke, it's not. I legitimately will put that on.
Yeah, balance. For me, it's the 90s Moomins cartoons. 100% recommend. Yep.
Yeah, fair.
There you go. Me, myself, and I. Look, I'm going to be real. I've been balancing my real life, and that has not involved a lot of games, unfortunately. I do want to obtain, because I am in my Star Trek era. Okay, I'm in my Star Trek era, and I will say, Kate, your top is very Star Trek. Okay, I've got my Star Trek on. Yeah, it is. It's very. I like it. I have gone ahead and I've started brand new worlds. Strange New Worlds. So Spock is getting a lot of action and I'm liking it. I'm digging it. So yeah, damn, it's good. It's good. But there are some Star Trek games and I would actually like to play them because there's like a new one that Kate has sitting on her shelf that she hasn't played, by the way. She should play that, not that scary game.
So the list of things I should play is ridiculous.
So yeah, I do want to experiment, maybe, if I have the energy this weekend, but we'll see. We protect our energy, we protect, like I've been working and kids and all that kind of stuff. So, but it doesn't mean that I'm not a gamer. Okay, it doesn't mean gaming is not my hobby. It just means I've been doing other things. Instead of us saying that Strange New Worlds gets a little spicy, I'm in season 2, if that matters, and he's taking a break from his engagement, and finally, oh my god, if you've seen it, you know what it is. All right, before this turns into a Star Trek podcast, thank you all for being here today. I really, really appreciate you all. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for listening after the fact. And we will see you next week for another episode of Confessions of a Gamer Girl podcast. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.